The Crimson Tide of Alabama, coming off a dream season in 2011, which culminated in an SEC and NCAA team championship, opens its 2012 campaign today versus their arch rival, the Georgia Gym Dogs, who after an injury-plagued 2011 are off to a terrific start this year. It's one of college sports' most exciting rivalries. Today, the Georgia Gym Dogs visit the Crimson Tide of Alabama in SEC Gymnastics, coming up next. Welcome to the SEC on ESPN. Today we're inside the Coleman Coliseum on the campus of the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for our gymnastics coverage as the reigning NCAA champions, the Crimson Tide of Alabama, host the SEC rivals, University of Georgia, the Gym Dogs. Hi everybody, I'm Bart Connor, and I'm proud to be working along with Kathy Johnson-Clark and Suzanne Yocklin. We could be in for a great gymnastics meet. These two teams have won a total of 15 NCAA championships among them, 10 for Georgia and 5 for Alabama. Now, Alabama had the greatest season ever last year, winning the unofficial Triple Crown, the SEC Championship, the Regional Championship, and the NCAA Championship. How can they even do better this year?
I know, but that is a dream come true season. The Pattersons in the Alabama program have garnered so many championships that that trophy case is overflowing. I don't know how they can do it again. As a matter of fact, the feat and the one challenge they have yet to accomplish is winning back-to-back NCAA titles. And with all of their athletes returning except for one, this could very well be the year of the Crimson Tide.
All right, well, it's going to be exciting, no question about it, because the Gym Dogs, if there's ever a dynasty in gymnastics, it's Georgia. 10 championships, 5 in a row. But the last couple of years have been challenging, to say the least.
You're right, Bart. Back in 2009, they were on top of the world. But after that historic win, they didn't even make it back to the national championships. Last year, they made it back to the championships, but not into the top 6, and they were not happy with their performance. They've started off really strong, though, with their highest score of the season opener meet. Most important, they're healthier than they've ever been, and Jay Clark wants them to leave feeling good. They need to compete well here against the defending national champions.
All right, we're going to be seeing dual meet gymnastics competitions, which means there will be 4 rotations: the vault, the bars, the beam, and the floor. 6 athletes from each team will compete on each event, with just the best 5 scorers counting towards a team total. And the first vaulter for Alabama will be Caitlin Clark, the freshman. In fact, the first 2 vaulters for Alabama are both freshmen. She's out of Rancho Cucamonga, California.
This is a terrific event for Alabama.
Look at that landing for the opening meet of the season, a stick right off the bat.
Suzanne, this was such a huge event for them at the national championships.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was. It was their highest scoring event last year, and it looks like they're taking off where they left out.
Quickly to the bars. This is Chelsea Davis, the freshman.
I am so impressed with this gymnast. Good technique. I'm talking to Jay. She is so competitive. She looks a little tight right now. She's kind of holding back a little bit.
Well, I don't know. She started the bar lineup for Georgia last week in their opening meet, scored a 9-8, and just knocked it out of the park with a stick.
Nice difficulty on that this one.
Chelsea Davis, 2010, was a member of the World Championship medalist team for the United States.
That's right.
She is impressive.
And she's only been released just recently.
She's coming off of a wrist injury. She's only going to do a full here. But a nice one. She can do a 1.5 twist. Came up with a good landing, though.
All right, Noelle Couch, the junior out of New Jersey now for Georgia on the bars.
Very impressed with the work ethic of this gymnast. She has been so important to Georgia the last couple of years, especially competing in the all-around in all of the meets last year.
Score for her teammate, Chelsea Davis, the leadoff performer, was a 9.725.
A little short on that last handstand. That'll cost her a lot in the total score.
Yeah, and a few little form. Oh, no, and that's a biggie, unfortunately. Oh, it looked like she had it. Hips were just back. Didn't quite rotate around enough, but she fought and at least stayed on her feet.
And if you watch here when she releases the bars, her knees are actually a little bent, a little early. Got to really get those heels up before you flip.
Ashley Sledge will be next up for Alabama on the vault. The scores for the first 2 vaulters: Caitlin Clark a 9.825, Kayla Williams had a 9.8.
And this is usually a very big vault. Very
beautiful. You can see her spot that landing. As she was coming around on the twist, she actually was looking for the floor and expecting to stick.
It's funny, I actually thought she kind of crammed into the table a little bit, but she managed to get off that table.
Yeah, look at the team. They know how important those sticks are.
5 times last year, she scored more than 9-9 on the vault. Incredible. You can see why she's a first-team All-American. All right, Krista Tonella, the junior out of Lucas, Texas. Trained formerly at the World Olympic Gymnastics Academy. The score for Ashley Sledge, a 9.975.
Wow.
Krista Tonella now for Georgia on the bars, the junior out of Lucas, Texas.
Such a pleasure watching this gymnast on this event. So clean, so precise.
Did you see that blind change?
Woo.
Wow.
Right in the handstand.
Right in the vertical. She's very experienced for Georgia, too, competing every single meet last year on the uneven bars.
Look at the toe point. Absolutely gorgeous. Nice difficulty. So clean. Wow. A simple dismount.
And after a big mistake, a nice, solid routine.
Marissa Gutierrez will be next up for vault, Alabama.
Wow, that's a nice vault. Good distance.
I loved it. I used to stand behind the vault table and have the girls look for me before they turned. And I think she actually looked like she could spot the wall before she turned. And that's why it looks so strong. There's no early twist. There's no pushing off her hands to come off the table. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I like the way she opens her arms out, really flares out at the ending. Unfortunately, she did take that step.
Right.
And that'll be a deduction.
Next up for Georgia on the bars will be Shayla Worley. Last year, her high score was a 9.925. She's a leader by example on this team, and Jay Clark is very happy that she's finally healthy. She has been, let's say, rather fragile over the last couple of years with lots of injuries.
A glass china doll, and had to be very careful with her, but this is the best I've seen her in her collegiate career. And the nice thing that I've heard is that she's really stepped up even in that leadership position, both vocally in the gym, really helping and getting everybody up, but her gymnastics is better than it's
Watch this spray right here, this toe-on, toe-off, reverse hack. Nicely done. I mean, she has made such an improvement over last year. You know, last year at the NCAA, she had a lot of mistakes, and so last week in the opening home meet for Georgia, that meet was key to her to be able to take that elephant off her back and hit, and she did, and now she's competing with so much more confidence. Look at this beautiful routine.
Gorgeous double layout. Had to pike down a little bit, but look at the landing.
And
that's
confidence.
Awesome.
Look how she saluted and stood up. Just a lot of confidence.
Yes, so much improvement. She's gorgeous to begin with on this event. Great technique, nice amplitude, good form. She does this as well as anyone.
Yeah.
The vault quickly, Geraldine Stack-Eaton.
Wow, that's a vault.
I don't know what they're going to do with this, with that 9.975.
What do you do?
This vault, her chest was up when she landed. Spectacular, spectacular vault.
Now keep in mind, judges don't have the luxury that we do looking at it again, but you're right, Suzanne.
Ooh.
Chest was a little bit higher. Very, very pretty in the air.
The score for her teammate, Gutierrez, is a 9.875.
Look at this vaulting lineup. 3 All-Americans in a row.
Oh!
There it is.
Yep, they had to, really.
Yeah, they had to. They had to.
A 10.
First 10 of the year in the
first meet.
Yes. First 10 of any athlete in the country.
Unbelievable. Geraldine Stack-Eaton. Back to the bars now. Gina Nuccio.
Nice transition to the handstand there.
Shayla Worley's score was a 9.875.
Gina does one of the best full twisting double backs off the bars. Sticks about 100% of the time. Executes it very well.
Definitely the best part of the routine was the dismount. Doesn't quite have the amplitude in her release moves, but look at this. It's so great to see the grip strength on the bars, and that was gorgeous.
Back to the vault, Deandra Williams. Deandra Milliner, the sophomore out of Wichita, Kansas.
1.5 twists, the hardest vault in the competition so far.
And Sarah said, what they do tonight is exactly what they have. They're putting it all out there on the floor tonight, and she was not kidding. A 1.5 twisting Yurchenko in the opening meet of the season. That's going for it.
On bars now, Kat Dink, national champion on this event.
And a 9.975 last week against Denver.
Oh,
beautiful to catch up. Little knee bend in the air.
Her teammate Gina Nuccio, 9.875.
Good save, beautiful turning in the vertical position.
She's definitely hitting the handstands. Tiny, tiny little form breaks, but big moves throughout.
I love her double layout.
That's a nice double layout.
Straight body on 2 flips. Perfect.
The senior out of Sparks, Nevada, caps off a solid performance there for Georgia. The low score for them over there, Noelle Couch, is 9.55.
Look how she rises above the bar when she releases and holds that body position throughout the flip.
Jay Clark happy with his performances on the bars, and Alabama off to an awesome start on the vault. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. Here are the scores for the vault. The Crimson Tide in the first rotation, 49.55. Their team total there, capped off with a perfect 10 by Geraldine Stack-Eaton. On the bars for the Georgia Gym Dogs in the first rotation, their low score 9.55 would be dropped. Their total 49.225. So here are our standings. Alabama has a slight lead over Georgia after the first of 4 rotations. Now 2011 was certainly a year of highs and lows for the residents of Alabama. On April 27th, 2011, 10 days after Alabama returned from the national championships, a series of devastating tornadoes struck the southeast. Tuscaloosa was particularly hit hard. 43 people were killed. It took a frantic 1 hour and 5 minutes for Coach Sarah Patterson to finally contact all of her team members and to know that they were safe. What happened that day put it all into perspective.
I think that 1 hour and 5 minutes was, without a doubt, one of the most difficult times I've ever faced, and counting the numbers and making sure that our ladies were alive. I feel like they were given a second chance. So many people in our community were given a second chance. Our university was not touched. But I will never forget those hour and 5 minutes.
The Alabama gymnastics team has since then vowed to help in the relief efforts by identifying an important need, replacing books for the local libraries. So with the leadership of Sarah and assistant coach Dana Duckworth, they teamed up with others in the community to create a campaign to raise money to replace more than 10,000 books that were lost in local libraries. All right, first up for Georgia, Chelsea Davis on the ball.
Oh, no, a little bit short on that landing, a little low. Pulled it out.
Yeah, she was going for the stick. Watch the knee bend. She's got a little bit of knee bend right there. Oh, you really couldn't see it in that view, but a little knee bend off the board as well. Yeah.
She certainly has had a rash of injuries, but it's great to see her in the lineup. Last week, the SEC Freshman of the Week. Now back to the bars. Ashley Sledge, always a highlight for Alabama.
And we mentioned last year when they put her first up, lead off on this event, it was such a good move.
4 times last year, she scored 9.9 or higher.
This was the only event that Alabama struggled with a little bit last year, and they were a little bit inconsistent on this event.
But she provides that consistent start every time. As she said, she can hit anywhere, anytime.
Oh.
And look at the gigantic double layout. Gorgeous.
Big gymnastics from her. I wouldn't be surprised if she's first in the lineup for the rest of her career. Someone that starts out this strong and sets the pace. And she told us earlier, she never misses. She always hits. Just that hop.
Back to the vault now, Noelle Couch for Georgia.
Wow, there's another one that can stick.
made up for her bar landing.
It
really went after
did. That was a lot stronger vault than what Noel competed last year. She definitely had more height and distance.
Last year she was second place in the SEC championships on this event.
Great job.
Becca Alexson, the junior out of Tennessee, will be next. Ashley Sledge, we wait for her score. Some gymnastics enthusiasts might remember Becca Alexson last year had that awkward moment where she started her routine. She thought she had been given permission from the judges to go, and there was a deduction, and that turned out to be the only loss in the regular season for Alabama against Florida.
But it actually probably propelled them on to that national championship. Sometimes the adversity of an embarrassing loss is what a team needs to turn it around.
You're right. They never looked back after that.
High score 9.875 on bars last year.
At 5'5", she's one of the tallest gymnasts here. She actually looks about 5'9".
She does.
Mark, so long and nice lines.
A couple of form breaks right at the beginning of legs apart.
All right, not a bad start. As you mentioned, couple little form breaks, handstands, tiny bit short, but consistent start.
She does a full turn into the double tuck.
Sarah Persinger will be up now. Noelle Couch had a 9.8.
Quite a bit of pike in that vault, actually.
I know, yes, Kathy, well, there was a lot, but from our angle, you can really see it. When you're sitting on the side where the judges are sitting, you really can't see as much of the pike in the body position.
Persinger is a freshman out of Mount Holly, North Carolina. In her opening meet last week at a 9.775 on vault. Seemed like the scores were a little generous on bars in the first rotation. We'll see if the scores stay consistently high all night or not. Ashley Sledge opened up with a 9.8 over there. We wait for the score for Becca Alexson. Caitlin Clark will be next, former member of the U.S. national team. She had a stress fracture this fall in her foot. A lot of these athletes are just getting up to speed now. Many of them dealt with a lot of injuries throughout the last several months.
One of the reasons they keep in mind, this is a long season. You've got to rest some bodies. You've got to start out somewhat slowly so that you can peak by nationals.
You can see just a little bit of form break in this routine too. Her ankles are taped, and that could be part of the issue with the tape.
Oh! Too bad. I thought she'd pull that back.
First two scores for Alabama are both 9.8s for Ashley Sledge and Becca Alexson. Remember, 6 athletes compete. 5 scores count towards a team total. So
it's funny, just watching her before she went up, she looked very nervous to me, and I thought, well, she's young. This is
just like Chelsea Davis from Georgia, a little nervous. Those freshmen.
Sometimes it's hard to judge your adrenaline, how much there is going too hard, holding back, getting tight. Just went a little too hard on that handstand.
Well, obviously, Alabama hopes to throw this routine out and the score out of their total.
Good point.
all right, we'll be back with her score and the update on the standings in the second rotation right after this. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. George is on the vault right now. The scores there: Sarah Persinger before the break, a 9.65. The other scores: Noelle Couch, a 9.8. Chelsea Davis, a 9.725. Kaylin Earls will be up now.
Now, this is the only vault tonight that's not the Yurchenko full twist. She does the Yurchenko half-on front pike. Nice explosion off the table. Very nice though.
Kaylin also coming off of injury. She's a redshirt freshman out of Chicago, Illinois.
Missed her entire season, a ruptured Achilles tendon. Very difficult injury to come back from.
Especially on the leg events like vault and floor. Sarah DeMeo will be next up, the sophomore out of Overland Park, Kansas, on the bars. High scorer last year, 9'9", first team All-American last year on bars. She finished 3rd at the NCAA championships.
She is part of that Alabama sophomore class that's so strong and has been was so instrumental in their success last year. And Sarah says once again this year it's that sophomore class that can really make a difference for the Tide.
It's really amazing because they had so many freshmen last year, and it's just so unpredictable how they're going to respond to the pressure. And they did so incredibly well last year. Now, be interesting to see her release move. She missed it a couple times in the warm-ups. Didn't look bothered. Oh, just like that.
Now that's 2 falls for Alabama. They're going to have to count one of those low scores.
The score, by the way, for Caitlin Clark was a 9.275 with that fall, so this is devastating. 2 mistakes.
You know, as Kathy said, they were making the mistakes in warm-ups over there.
What happened technically?
She didn't hold on to the bar. How technical do you want me to get?
No,
how long you got?
I was watching her in warm-ups, and she straddles her legs too early, and then that creates the flip too early. You can't get the rise. But that just opened up the door for Georgia.
Still needs to finish strong because one of these scores is going to count.
A little bit of the Alabama shuffle on the landing where you hop and salute and turn all at the same time instead of finishing.
You mean you never did that at Georgia?
No, we never did that. We never did that.
I knew a gymnast that had that perfected way back in 1976. Nadia.
Yeah. Oh, Nadia, yes.
Back to the vault. Kaylin Earls, by the way, had a 9.8. This is Kat Hires.
Wow. Okay, that's how you don't move your feet at all on a landing.
You saw she really set the layout. Watch how she sets the layout before she does the turn.
Wow.
Wow.
Got some stickum on her feet or something.
Oh, that was nice. It'll be interesting to see if she can get a big score out of that one.
We'll see. The sophomore out of Tampa, Florida. Nice job. She competed in every meet in 2011 on vault for Georgia. Geraldine Stack-Eaton, 8-time first-team All-American. The senior out of Horsham, Pennsylvania, formerly of the Parkettes Gymnastics Club. Score on vault for Kat Hires for Georgia was a 9.9. So an opportunity for the Gym Dogs here, considering the 2 mistakes for Alabama on bars.
Yeah, they definitely need to come back strong here. Now, it's early in the season. It's not a complete devastation, but it's definitely something they want to work on next time out. 2
amazing athletes will cap it off for Alabama. Geraldine Stack-Eaton here, and then they'll finish up with Ashley Priest.
I love her form on this event.
Oh, God, that's beautiful. Beautiful toe point.
Geraldine is so pretty on this event. Great difficulty. Really, really nice.
And a blind landing on that double Arabian dismount. She could not see the floor at all. Came very close to the stick. There it is, blind landing. Beautiful.
Kat Ding will be the final vaulter for Georgia.
Gorgeous vault. We're seeing the same vault over and over. Yurchenko laid out with a full twist. They all do it a little bit different. A little more height from some, a little more distance from some. What they're looking for is a combination of all of that. It's huge dynamics. You want to see height off the horse, straight body throughout, and of course, a perfect landing, ideally.
And it's hard to have a straight body on the landing and stick it.
Her high score last year, 9.95, All-American on the vault. Ashley Priest now. This is exciting to see her on this team.
Absolutely. Difficult year last year, having to sit out, having 2 ankle surgeries, sat out the entire year, watched her team win the national championships from the sidelines. Was certainly a part of it, but to be given this opportunity to compete as a graduate student. She finished her degree.
Right.
And is now starting her master's.
It's the first gymnast in Alabama history to do that. Graduate early. And of course, Sarah Patterson, it's like having a new recruit, because she said, we thought we lost this gymnast.
Yeah.
And now we have this amazing gymnast one more year because she's finally healthy.
And she looked good in warm-up.
And Sarah said she's the best recruit in the country because of her experience.
Oh!
Oh, another mistake. She's going to cover it up. Now this is going to end up being a longer routine.
Oh.
And she's pulling it off.
Well,
turned it into a 1.5 pirouette, which is a very difficult move.
And now this is where it gets hard at the end of a longer routine. Good job.
Double layup. Look at that. That's a veteran.
Unbelievable fight.
Now it's supposed to be a full pirouette. She went over though, did another half pirouette. Now she has to add this nifty little move right here. She had an extra giant.
No major deductions, no major execution errors except for missing the handstand.
The score for Stack Eaton was a 9.875. So good thing she showed an impressive cover-up for Preece if Alabama hopes to stay in this, because those two other mistakes will be devastating. We'll update you with the scores on the bars for Alabama, the vault for Georgia, and the team standings at the halfway point right after this. And welcome back to Tuscaloosa at the halfway point in the competition. Here are the scores for the Gym Dogs on the vault. 49.1, their team total there. And Alabama on the bars, boy, did they struggle. Two low scores there, 48-625 for the Crimson Tide in their second rotation. And so here are the standings. Georgia has a slight lead, 0.15 of a point over the Crimson Tide. Well, at the halfway point in this competition, some surprises. Alabama got off to an amazing start, including the perfect 10 from Geraldine Stack Eaton on the vault. And then the wheels seem to come off on bars.
They look like the national championship team on vault, coming up with landings and high scores that you really expect later in the season. Then went to bars, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the third season in a row where they've had two major mistakes, having to count a fall.
Right.
But again, last year they did it and never looked back after that. They recovered from it. We'll see.
Perhaps one of the most important positions in all of women's gymnastics is the leadoff position on balance beam. And today, Kim Jacob gets that responsibility, as she often does, the sophomore All-American.
This is all the more important with the two falls they had on the uneven bars, having to count one of those. This is a critical routine for them. Kim came up huge for them at the NCAA competition in the finals with a 9.95, the highest score of the weekend.
There's a certain type of personality that likes that lead-off pressure. It's not for everybody, is it?
No, it is definitely not for everybody. You can tell she stays very calm, especially going in and out of these skills, difficult skills. She's got that right combination of aggressive attack, but yet calm. Very nice routine to start.
Critical routine for the Crimson Tide here.
And she does it beautifully. Great under pressure.
First up for Georgia on the floor, Kaylin Earls, the redshirt freshman. She's a powerful floor and vault gymnast typically.
Nice double back. I don't know if you noticed, Kathy, but all 3 tumbling passes, she had a little shuffle of her feet, and she didn't need to. She looked like she could have stuck all of those landings. That's a great start, though, from the freshman.
Very solid.
Sophomore, but a freshman in terms of competition.
Yes, exactly. This is certainly Georgia's weakest event of all the 4.
Deandra Milliner now up on the beam for Alabama. Second-team All-American on this event.
And what a great year she had as a freshman. Terrific competitor. Very, very solid.
She graduated early last year to join the team in January and came out blazing right from the beginning.
Sarah Patterson said it was like a breath of fresh air for the whole team to have her power, excitement, and enthusiasm.
Oh, I love that little kick over front. She finished with her hips really high off the beam. Very strong athlete.
You can see they've really been working hard on trying to clean up everything, really pay attention to the details. Dana Duckworth is their balance beam coach, and she is very particular. Does a great job with them on this event. They're a terrific beam team.
You talk about a deep team. Patterson says they're 8 to 10 gymnasts deep here, and she said, we've always been good on beam, but I think this year we're better than ever.
Well, when you're that deep, you can make your lineup out of the people that can stick their dismount. You can't stick a dismount, you don't make a lineup that's deep.
Sarah Patterson focusing down the end of the beam for that dismount. Chelsea Davis now, 3-time member of the U.S. national team. She was a member of that World Championship team in 2010 and dislocated her kneecap just before the start of the competition. Wasn't able to participate.
Love this routine from a Texas athlete, and she loves cowboy boots and cowboy hats.
Her teammate Kaylin Earls had a 9.775 in the opening performance.
Can't you see a little bit of her coach, her former coach, Kim Zmeskal, in this routine?
And Russell Warfield actually choreographed the routine, but I think she had a lot to do with the music. Looks like a Tiffany Tone routine to me. Beautiful 180 split. First meet mistakes, that's all that was. She didn't do floor last week in Denver. First time she's ever competed this event for Georgia. That's a typical first meet mistake. Tucked her knees a little bit early off the floor.
Ashley Sledge will be next up on beam. Deandra Milliner's score was a 9.7. First up for Alabama was Kim Jacobs. She had a 9.825.
This is one of the first meets that Sledge is doing the all-around, I believe, Kathy, since high school, right?
Junior year in high school, she said. It's the last time she competed in the all-around.
And she's doing a heck of a job tonight so far on her first 2 events.
Sure is. She had a 9.975 on vault, a 9.8 on the bars.
She's so powerful, so strong.
I like how aggressive she is on this event, where she attacks the landings, really takes control. It's the way to never let the nerves creep in.
Whoops.
Oh, just as I said that. I made a mistake.
That's such a difficult turn with the legged horizontal. Oh, such a hard turn. Sometimes I wonder why coaches put that in there.
I'm glad they do, though. You've got to take some risk. Even in the dance elements, I prefer to see the risk. It'll pay off ultimately.
Asked her before the meet if she felt any pressure to repeat, and she said, hey, last year was last year. Everybody starts at 0 this year.
Clean slate. Nice job. Watch this landing.
Good flop layout and has a nice lift. Plants her feet, see the turnout on the balance beam? Gainer full, and she does it correctly in the layout position.
Krista Tonella, the junior for Georgia.
She earned her a spot in the floor lineup this week. Did not compete last week, but earned her spot this week. She was glued right there. She knew if she moved, she'd have been out of bounds.
Had a 9.825 last week in their opening competition against Denver. Quick update on scores. Chelsea Davis had a rather low 9.6.
Jay had the team competing a lot this week on this event because they've had so many problems with consistency in practice. He had them all out there almost every day doing floor routines, competing for their spot over and over again.
Boy, I know the judges are looking for these tumbling moves, but I love the aesthetics.
Beautiful, and she can twist. Her Rudy was really nice. Her front 1.5 was well done.
Now we'll be back with more action in the third rotation right after this. And welcome back to Tuscaloosa. University of Alabama on the beam with Sarah DeMeo now.
Did you see that mount, Bart? The McCool mount? She did it well. Like Courtney McCool herself.
Just before the break, Ashley Sledge's score was a 9.75.
Oh, cool.
I love this routine. It's very artistic and creative.
It's not the run of the mill. It's they're
There's her 180 splits. That's one of the requirements on the balance beam, is that you must hit a 180 full split.
It's nice she does more than just a series of poses. Makes it that much more unfortunate. She had the little break out of the layout right here.
We'll take a look at the flight again. She had one arm down when she landed and wasn't square, but a good save.
Back to the floor for Georgia. The score, by the way, for Krista Tonella was a 9.85. Their high score so far over there. Gina Nuccio now.
Double Arabian first pass, an E-level skill. Woo! You know what's interesting here, Kathy, is she only does 2 tumbling passes.
With just 2 tumbling passes, she can still fulfill the difficulty requirement.
Well, this last pass right here is 3 tenths, and her opening pass was 2. Whip half. Oh, no. Oh, I hope it's not an injury.
It almost looked like she hurt something, but...
She's running off the floor, though.
Yeah.
did look like
yeah,
it.
she just mistimed this punch right here. Not enough. Yeah, not rotated enough. Couldn't punch. But it looked like she was going to grab her leg at first. I think she's okay.
She looks like she's okay.
For Alabama on the bench, Geraldine Stack-Eaton.
Back to Geraldine Stack-Eaton, the senior.
Well, if you're a fan of really pretty gymnastics, you'll like this routine. Very clean, well executed.
She won the SEC championships on this event, 9.925.
And she has the difficulty.
Go-to person on beam for Alabama.
She's that all-around gymnast. You can see the strength and the lift in that flip-flop layout. She's got flexibility and good grace and presentation, like you said, Kathy.
She just has it. She just has a feel for gymnastics that is
it. Complete. The it factor.
It's complete, too.
Right. I love that back wing jump. That's sheep jump.
I don't know
That's
if she'll
beautiful.
Get didn't quite put her head back far enough, do you think?
I think she'll get credit for it, yeah.
Nicely done. Really beautiful.
I'd like to see more of a stick on that dismount, though. She was on her tippy toes, trying to hold on to it.
Earlier today, of course, she became just the 7th different Alabama gymnast to get a perfect 10 on the vault.
Watch the dismount. Oh, fighting.
Shayla Worley on floor now.
Beautiful. She's another one I love to watch. Okay, this is big right here. Kathy, she's going to end with a 2.5 twist. She missed it in warm-ups. It'll be interesting to see if she does it or if Jay Clark changes this last pass.
Just go hard. Pull it around. Oh,
double full.
Yeah. So she won't get the bonus. But
she won't get the bonus. It's an automatic 1/10 deduction.
But it's a gorgeous
routine. It's
routine.
gorgeous. It is breathtaking. You know, they already had that fall. They didn't want to take a chance of another mistake. And a win on the line as well. Let's take a look at this last pass. She struggled with the 2.5 in warm-ups. Coach Clark made the decision to take it out. Double full, a guaranteed hit.
Ashley Pete Priest now on the beam. Score for Geraldine Stack-Eaton was a 9.85.
And Bart, I like these two routines going back to back. Very different styles. Ashley's quicker, just a different feel, but equally pleasant to watch. I love it.
In 2010, she was the SEC beam champ. She set out all of 2011 with injuries.
She doesn't hit a 180 split. She hits a 200 split, that over split. It's just beautiful. I haven't seen many gymnasts come off an injury and look this strong.
Very nice. Good for her.
Very nice.
She has scored as high as 9.95 on beam.
And I could just watch this all day. Toes pointed, stretch.
It's so nice to have her back in collegiate gymnastics as a senior.
Turn back over to floor. Noelle Couch will wrap it up for Georgia there. It's a huge crowd on hand here. We'll get the final numbers in a minute, but this is the home opener for the reigning national champions, the Crimson Tide. And everybody in town is here. They love their national champs, no question about it. Worley score, by the way, 9-7-7-5.
And Suzanne Noel can tumble.
She can tumble. It's interesting. She was in the second position in the lineup last year to the anchor position this year, so she's doing something better.
Very nice, focusing double back.
This middle pass gave her trouble last year. She did a front to a double back, and Jay changed it to a whip to a double back, and she's probably going to have more success with that. Much better.
We asked Jay Clark about her and her work ethic, and he said she is a machine. Great attitude, very positive every day in the gym.
And if you ask the girls on the team, they say the same thing.
Excellent tumbling, good difficulty, full twisting, double back in the pike position.
Definitely the most difficult tumbling in the competition so far tonight. You see bonus in every single pass.
All right, that wraps up the third of 4 rotations. Georgia moves to the beam, Alabama to the floor. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Coleman Coliseum here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. After 3 rotations, let's take a look at the scores. Crimson Tide on the beam, very solid. All the scores ranging between 9.85 and 9.7. 49-1 is their team total there. The Gym Dogs on the floor had one low score of a 9.1, which will get dropped, 48-8-7-5. But guess what? Coming into the final rotation, these two top teams are separated by only 75 thousandths of a point. Georgia on the beam in the final, the 4th rotation. This is a close one.
We've got a competition.
Woo. I'm glad Noelle coaches up on beam. I mean, I'm sure Jay is glad she's up on beam. She has a lot of experience starting in this anchor position, the start-off position, and they need it right now. They need a solid performance to get things going.
Noelle Couch was very proud of Georgia in their first meet. They opened up against Denver last week, and she said, we were very confident in our first meet, and after a challenging season last year, that was a great way to start this year.
Well, one thing about adversity, if it doesn't stop you, it does make you stronger, and I think this group has gotten stronger together. They're tougher-minded. They're being smart about their training, taking care of bodies, getting healthy,
and they didn't like being preseason number 9.
No.
I can tell you that much. No. They did not like that, did not sit well with them.
Yeah, they figured if they came out strong, that the rest of the country, including the judges, would say, hey, Georgia's back.
Good start off.
She's solid up there. It's amazing how she can make a mistake early in the meet and recover.
She continues to be very instrumental.
Kim Jacob will be first up for Alabama on the floor.
Dana Duckworth choreographs floor exercise for Alabama, and she's actually choreographed 5 national championship routines.
This is a very strong event for Alabama, always has been. And to finish at home on floor, it's a great advantage for them.
They're a very athletic team, very physically strong. You can see the power in all of the athletes.
Kim did a great job in the leadoff spot on balance beam. She's doing a fantastic job here as well.
She's just cute. She really is cute.
Perfect description.
Nice start
Last pass
for Alabama's Kim Jacob.
Last pass, not a D at the end, which is the ultimate goal for every team, but nice and solid with the execution.
Up on the beam now, Kaylin Earls for Georgia. The opening score for Noelle Couch was a 9-8.
I've been impressed with this freshman. I keep saying freshman because she didn't compete last year. Look at that layout. I'm just impressed with this sophomore who's inexperienced. She's really been consistent.
And Lady was a valedictorian of her high school class.
That was a side aerial with a quarter turn, and that's a D-level skill, 1/10 bonus.
Had a strong 9.825 last week in their opening meet.
You need 5/10 in bonus to have a 10-0 start value.
I'd say she's back.
Yes, absolutely, and she loves it.
Next for Alabama on the floor.
Ashley Sledge up on the floor. Her high score, career high, 9-9.
And to repeat what we said earlier, first time doing the all-around since high school, and having a great night. Love that amplitude. That'll eventually be a twisting pass of some kind.
Yeah, Coach Patterson said earlier this week that they have the option to add more difficulty as the season goes on. They wanted to set a good foundation in the first meet and not risk too much, especially on the floor. It's a long season. You got to save the legs.
Well, there's no deduction for doing a middle pass without bonus. It's just this last pass that has to have at least a C-level skill, and bonus, or you get a deduction.
Wow.
That was huge. Double
I'd
pass.
say no deduction.
Great moment, and what a great night for Ashley Sledge. Her first time in the all-around since high school. We'll be back with her score and more from the final rotation. Up now for Georgia on the beam here in Tuscaloosa, Kat Ding.
And she's a senior who does not have a lot of experience on this event, but she wants it bad. She has some spunk and tenacity, and she is going after it.
She's the NCAA champion on the bars, but she wants some respect here. Oh! On the beam here as well. The scores for Georgia on the beam coming into this performance. Noelle Couch had a 9.8. Kaylin Earls a 9.75.
That was a big deduction because she broke in the hips and actually bent over, so that's a pretty large deduction. Julie Clark said that Kat has had the best training all fall in this event of anyone on the team. She's been the most consistent in practice every week.
Just thinking that, but you can do all the numbers you want in practice, but you cannot get the experience of doing it under pressure without competing. But finally, that's one of the better routines that she has done under pressure.
Yes, this full turn is frustrating, I'm sure, for her because this is the second week in a row that she wobbled on a basic skill of full turn. It's too bad because the double full is stuck.
Laura Lee Frost. This could be a highlight out of Decatur, Alabama. Just a freshman, grew up not far from here, and all her life wanted to be on the Crimson Tide team.
And she earns it from this first pass, double layup. Whoa!
Imagine for a young girl growing up in this area, coming to these meets and thinking someday I want to be a member of that team. And she's made it. Outstanding.
And you know how all teams have certain looks, and you just see an athlete and you're like, that's an Alabama gymnast. Well, she certainly is one. She just got that look. Beautiful routine. Again, freshman mistake.
Oh, that's too bad. She was way up there.
Yep.
Just misjudged the landing.
Yes, she kind of rotated. She never really got her weight shifted on her takeoff. Her weight was still forward when she took off and counter-rotated.
Back to the beam now. Krista Tonella for Georgia.
Krista's one of the prettiest balance beam workers in the competition. Just superb form.
Looks like the judges talking over the previous routine for Kat Ding.
Well, we've had several inquiries with the beam scores. And
there were 3 scores that were changed in the previous rotation. So,
and that's unusual because you can only inquire on start value, not on deductions. So they must have different start values, the officials.
Krista Tonella out for Georgia now on the beam.
And Krista is one of the most beautiful balance beam workers here in the competition. Nice cover on slightly over-rotated full turn.
She's got to put up some big scores here.
Beautiful arms, great execution.
Last year competed in every meet on the beam. Her high score 9.9.
And a noted.
Nice difficulty. Well done.
Yes, and a nodi is an E-level skill on beam, and there's very few of those. 2/10 bonus for that.
Anodi is named after Henrietta Anodi, the Hungarian gymnast, who's a former world and Olympic medalist.
He did a lot of cool things, not just the Anodi.
You don't see many collegiate gymnasts willing to risk a move like an Anodi.
No, you don't.
It's not worth it in college competition, is it? If you can do it as well as she does, why not?
Ooh.
Yes.
They took out the side semi. Interesting. Georgia wants this win.
And you wouldn't in that situation, would you?
I just know these.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would or not. It's early in the season, but this is a big one to want to win. I can definitely see that.
Marissa Gutierrez now. The score for Laura Lee Frost was a 9-3-5.
A little bit of pressure here.
This is a close meet. Scores on floor for Alabama, 9-8-2-5, 9-8-7-5.
Let's see if Bama goes for it. Let's see if they go for it. Double layout, we'll see. Yep, they're not changing anything. It was halfway through the season, I think, last year before she did the double layout. So it's good to see her open with it this year.
Yeah, it was well done. That didn't look risky at all.
She has scored 9-9-2-5 here in the past.
Strong finish. Great routine.
Yes.
These teams separated by less than 1/10 of a point coming into this final rotation. This is going to be close, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa. Sarah Persinger, the freshman, up now for Georgia on the beam. The score for Krista Tonella before the break was a 9-8. There was some controversy about the score of Kat Ding. That came in at 9-7-7-5.
Georgia's doing very well in this pressure situation. They went 8 for 8, counting their exhibition routines in the season opener.
You know, what's impressive to me on balance beam for Georgia is to be in this situation. They've got 2 freshmen in the lineup, one right now that we're looking at, and also a sophomore who didn't compete last year. So this is you get older fast when you compete in this arena in a tight competition.
The way this competition started, it looked like Alabama was going to run away with it, but with their troubles on bars, they opened the door for Georgia to get back in this.
Georgia's scrappy. They are fighting for every 10. Double twist to split.
A little bit short on the twist, but a really solid routine.
For Alabama on the floor now, Deandra Milliner, the score for Marissa Gutierrez, a 9-9. Milliner last year scored 9-9 or higher 3 times.
Oh, that was big. That was nice. The double Arabian had an opening at the end where she actually extended her legs into the floor. Out of bounds. Saw the official's hand go up. That's a 1/10 reduction after the score is flat. Wow, they really are strong on those last coming passes.
Definitely throwing so much more difficulty on the floor in all their passes.
Georgia's final competitor on the balance beam,
Yeah, you could walk underneath that double pike.
And good landings, too.
Shayla Worley will be their final performer on the beam for Georgia. Sarah Persinger before her had a 9.8. So the scores for Georgia on the beam are 3 9.8s, a 9.775, and a 9.75.
Full twisting back handspring, you don't see that too often.
This is a great opportunity for Georgia. Shayla is gorgeous on this event. Great flexibility. She really shows that off in this routine. Solid skills.
She's a difference maker for Georgia. There's no question about it. She can put up the big 9.9s, and they're going to look to her this year to do that.
Nice thing, she instantly grabs your attention. Very pretty lines.
It's that flow you were talking about earlier, so she keeps moving instead of just having the static poses.
And internally, she's quite a vocal leader.
Here comes the Anodi.
Yes.
Second one for Georgia team.
Beautiful job. Little pike down on that
down.
dismount, but that's being picky.
New dismount this year for her, though. Better than that double full she did last year. Big improvement. What a nice routine for Georgia.
And Worley told us before the competition there's a new chemistry, there's a new sense of confidence that we didn't have last year, and that showed in that performance. Final routine of the day after we get the score for Deandra Milliner was a 9.7. Ashley Priest now will wrap it up.
Be nice to see her back on this event, just back in the meet.
There are a few gymnasts in this competition I just feel particular happiness for.
She's one of them.
Yep.
This is a close meet. This is a big score.
You're not kidding. The score back over on beam for Shayla Worley was a 9.95, wow. And Priest nailed that.
Whoa, this is a close one.
This really topped up the routine. Pike double back. Look at the landing. She is back in full form.
And she is one happy young lady.
And so the score for Ashley Priest, a 9.9. The final performance for Alabama on the floor, which gives them the win. Alabama wins 196-475 to Georgia, 196-325. They're separated by just 15 100ths of a point in the opening meet of the season for the Crimson Tide. A terrific meet, KJ, and for Alabama, there were certainly a couple of key turning points, both good and bad tonight.
You go back to their very first event, and oh my gosh, they set a pace that was unbelievable, showed championship form, including this 10-0 vault by Geraldine Stack-Eaton. And they looked like they were just going to take this away. Went over to the uneven bars, and both a freshman and sophomore had falls on the event. They had to count one fall. But veterans came up. Geraldine Stack-Eaton nailed this routine, and then Ashley Priest really finished off strong. Nailing the double air. It was fantastic. Got them back on track.
Well, let's go down to Suzanne Yocklin, who's with Coach Sarah Patterson and Geraldine Stack-Eaton right now.
Thanks, Bart. Sarah, congratulations. Your team really came through tonight in a tight situation.
Well, they did. And one of the things I told them is that we probably got more from this than we did a meet where we were perfect, because we had some challenges, we overcame them, and I'm just really proud of our ladies.
But how about that start on vaulting? That was like championship form on that event.
Well, it was, and Geraldine's vault was amazing. Perfect 10. There's not much she hasn't done in her career, and now that she can knock that one off the list.
Absolutely, and congratulations, Geraldine. That vault was amazing. It put the crowd on their feet, and it definitely was just exactly what your team needed. How did it feel?
It felt really great. You know, I was just relaxed and calm and confident, and I think it was the boost that everybody needed.
What impressed me about you tonight was how you came up on the uneven bars after the fall, kept your composure, and really that was a turning point for the Bama team and kept you in the meet. How did that feel?
Yeah, it's definitely hard a lot of time when someone falls ahead of you, but you know, you have to do it for your team to keep them boosted up and the energy going, and that's what me and Priest did.
Well, congratulations, and congratulations,
Thank
Sarah.
Regional title.
And congratulations to the Crimson Tide of Alabama. We are looking forward to a great season of the SEC on ESPN. Thanks for watching. For Kathy Johnson-Clark and Suzanne Yacklin, I'm Bart Connor. Once again, our final score, Georgia 196-325, Alabama 196-475. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.